Hi, this is Autohaus Hamilton TV, and I'm James, not available in stores. In this video, I'll be talking about an alarming sounding method Porsche came up with to keep their customers warm. Right after this. The obvious way to warm the occupants of a motor vehicle is to use heat extracted from the coolant. And this is indeed what most vehicles do, by installing a small secondary radiator near the passenger cabin and blowing air over it to heat the interior of the cabin. But that doesn't work when there is no coolant. So in air-cooled Porsches, there are heat exchangers, basically metal envelopes which surround the exhaust headers to capture hot air for the cabin. The good thing about heat exchangers is that they can provide warmth almost immediately the car is started. The downside is that until Porsche got around to providing a dedicated blower, they were constrained by engine fan speed, which meant that in an early 911, if you were stuck in traffic on a cold European or North American winter morning, you were probably cold because the engine was not turning over fast enough to blow that toasty warm air into the cabin. So Porsche's engineers came up with what sounds like a barking mad solution. I only discovered this a week ago and thought it would be a fantastic thing to tell you about. A petrol burning heater, conveniently close to the fuel tank and the vehicle occupants, close to the part of the car that is usually the first to arrive at the scene of an accident. It sounds like an idea from the "what's the worst thing that could happen" school of engineering optimism. But like most seemingly obvious things in life, it's a bit more complicated than that. For one thing, there are all sorts of safeguards built into the system to prevent it from overachieving its design goals. And it turns out that petrol-burning heaters are commonplace in light aircraft. The big difference, though, is that aviation maintenance schedules are measured in hours and not months or years. Porsche carried on with the option of a petrol-burning heater in left-hand drive cars until 1977. Let's take a look at how it worked. The heater unit itself was hidden away in the smuggler's box, the compartment just above the passenger's feet in left-hand drive 911s. There are two main elements to the heater unit, a burner and a blower. Within the burner, a heater pipe has fins attached to it in order to increase its surface area to better allow heat transfer. A small exhaust pipe carries exhaust gas to the outside world. The control unit, with a flow control jet, is located just beneath the windscreen. The idea of a small furnace to burn fuel inside a motor vehicle seems mildly terrifying, but it was apparently not unusual until the 1960s. In cold climes, it's still possible to add a fuel-burning heater to a vehicle. For diesel-burning vehicles in the frozen wastelands of the north, it's a necessity, as diesel gets too cold to burn. For petrol-burning vehicles, a fuel-burning heater helps make the vehicle a whole lot more comfortable to get into in the middle of winter. Interestingly, one of the companies that supplies aftermarket fuel-burning heaters is Webasto, the same company who provided the fuel-burning heaters that Porsche used. Modern fuel-burning heaters, or parking heaters as they're also known, heat up the vehicle's coolant and use that to warm the cabin and also pre-warm the engine. Fortunately, a fuel-burning heater is not the sort of thing that anybody needs in Australia. Fortunately, not because they're as terrifyingly dangerous as they first seem, but fortunately because they seem to be inherently problematic things. From what I could find when I was researching this video, people who were familiar with the design were scathing of the idea that these heaters were dangerous. Owners who had petrol-burning heaters in 911s reported that they were wonderfully warm when they worked, which they mostly didn't. Most of the topics that I found on Google dealing with fuel-burning heaters in modern cars seem to be of the problem with variety. Possibly because the only modernish car that seems to use a fuel-burning heater is a Range Rover. It would seem that English automotive electrical systems make for an excellent safety system. Thank you very much for watching.